Hello all. Abcodo team is back with another exciting webinar, this time with Trebas Institute. Thank you to all for your continued support in participating in all our institution-specific webinars. My name is Praveen Kishore, and I'm the Manager, Recruitment and Support for Abcodo. We know that you are very eager to know and find out the latest information in international sector and recruiting students for the upcoming semesters. So before I begin, I want to remind participants of a few things. The Q&A room is open, but you can submit your questions via the Q&A button you will see on the screen. Your questions will be answered by the presenters very soon. I would request you to wait for the answers because you might find the answers for questions from the presentation. On top of that, there is a link in your chat box that you can use to complete your information, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Well, we have the presenter from Trebas Institute, Mr. Kashish Goyal. He is Associate Regional Director for Trebas. Welcome, Mr. Kashish. Now, allow me to introduce MSM Unify. As you all know, MSM Unify is an international education market, in fact, the largest of its kind, that empowers educational institutions, agents, and students. Our objective is to unify those involved in student recruitment and enable each of you here to collaborate online to diversify your students and reach out to curious learners all over the world. I'm happy to share that this extensive AI-powered platform also assists in full international student journey through thousands of programs and courses. We are glad to offer them for free for your students to help them realize their dreams of studying abroad. And Abcodo would make that dream come true. Abcodo is MSM Unify's dedicated recruitment network that offers certified agents, complete application, and global reach to our partner institutions. I will give you an overview of Abcodo. We are active in 72 source countries. At present, we work with institutions in 30 destinations with coverage of 6 continents. Around 530 institutional partners and a fantastic technical platform with 40,000 plus programs. MSM Unify and Abcodo are product offerings from M Square Media, a world-class platform supporting international education, providing business development and marketing services to institutions of various sizes and types. Should you wish to know more about how you work with us, please complete the form that has been sent to your chat box, and our representative from Abcodo will contact you shortly. I will not interrupt you again because the Trebas team is eager to meet with you and is ready to make an incredible presentation. Over to the team, Mr. Kashish, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here today. It's always connecting with the Abcodo folks and their B2B partners. It's nice. The idea of being here today is just to make aware, create some awareness about Trebas and our programs to meet people, I suppose, directly through your connections, and to answer any questions or doubts or inquiries they might have about the institute, anything they want to know about the place, the location, the programs we offer, the scholarships, etc. So I'll do a quick presentation just to give everybody a brief what Trebas is all about. I'll try to make it short, not too long. And then we can open the floor to questions, I suppose. As you know, the first thing about Trebas to know is that Trebas Institute is a part of global university systems, right? GUS Group, as you might be aware, is a big educational group. We have institutes all over the world, including the US, Canada, the UK, Europe, Germany, India as well, for example. And they've been pioneers in the international education sector. We have over 50,000 students across 153 nationalities studying with us. Over 350 academic programs, over 1,000 staff members, including faculties, and we have 7 campuses across 3 continents. So it's a company which is dedicated to education, and especially globalization and international education has always been our focus. These are some of the brands that are under the GUS umbrella. As you can see, Canada, we have University of Canada West, Toronto School of Management, the Language Gallery, CCTB, and Trebas Institute. Then we have one in Ireland. You can see the institutions based out in the UK. We have institutions in India, University of Petroleum Energy Studies, Pearl Academy of Fashion, institutes in Singapore, the London School of Business and Finance, and so on. So working with Trebas is not only just working with a particular institute, it's also leveraging on the entire infrastructure and support systems that Global University Systems has as a whole. And that's the benefit of working with any GUS brand, essentially. Apart from that, we have a lot of academic partners throughout the world with different partnerships, different universities. These are transfer MAUs, credit evaluations, internship opportunities, etc., etc. Coming to Trebas, we all know Canadian education is well in the high demand for overseas education, especially from students from India, South Asia, and increasing every day in other parts of the world as well. Latin America numbers have been growing very exponentially recently. I don't think we need to talk about why Canada. I think it's one of the most wonderful places that people look forward to. It's extremely multicultural. The cost of education comparatively is affordable. The opportunities are great, and of course, the potential of migrating over to Canada if the student wants towards the end is also a big motivation factor. It's also the industry growth over there, the safety, the environment, and Canada is the second largest country by land mass, as we know. So there's a huge growth infrastructure coming up over there, economic growth, coming our way. And that's why perhaps students from all over the world have this dream of coming to North America, to Canada, and get educated over there, and perhaps explore the opportunity to stay back and contribute to the economy over there over time. Montreal. So this is where we are located. Montreal is the second largest city of Canada. Not people are not aware about this fact. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. It's one of those places where you have everything in a very balanced way, right? You have affordable tuition fees, you have low cost of living compared to cities, tier one cities like perhaps Toronto or Vancouver. Your cost of education in Montreal could come down to at least 40% less of what you'd be paying in those cities. Similarly, your cost of living is exponentially different. A single bedroom, perhaps if you rent it out for yourself in the GTA region in Toronto or nearby, would cost you close to $1,800, $2,000 just for the rent itself. But the same accommodation or better en-suite accommodation in Montreal would probably cost you $800 to $900, or maybe even less. So you see a huge difference in the cost of living and the cost of tuition fee and the cost of education essentially. But the ROI, the return on the investment, the job opportunities, the infrastructure remains pretty brilliant, and you have a lot of future opportunities later. It's also a very, very multicultural place. Montreal is extremely, extremely beautiful, as we know. It has a hint of French cultural essence in it, so that always keeps the lifestyle over there exciting. It's artistic. There's always so much happening, and it's a student-centric city as well. It's not just a commercial big city. It's a student-centric city where there's so many activities happening around the time, and there's so much exposure and networking opportunities that students can make use of. Essentially, it's a bilingual province. So this is a common misconception that people have that, if you're coming to Quebec, if you're coming to Montreal, unless you know the French language, it's very difficult to survive, or, you won't find employability. I don't think that's the case. I've had the pleasure of visiting Montreal plenty of times in the past, and I've always find most people over there to be bilingual, extremely multicultural. And, as we in India, for example, we grew up learning different languages. We could speak Hindi and English the same way, and other regional languages throughout the country. It's the same concept with people in Montreal. They speak French, of course, it's their native language, but they also speak English fluently too. So if you don't have French knowledge, if you can't speak French or understand French, you can still find opportunities over there. However, having said that, if you want to take up the opportunity of being in a new place and learning a new language, then there are there's a lot of support, free support, as a matter of fact, given by the institutions that you're studying within. Like at Trebas, we have free language classes for our students. Similarly, there's also government-run language programs you can enroll with. And the idea of learning French is it's not only that it will serve you well in Quebec or in Montreal. French is very widely accepted throughout Canada, and not just Canada, throughout the world as well. So if you're bilingual at any point of time, of course, it's a great advantage for your CV and for your own career opportunities for the future. Montreal hosts a large scale of cultural and international events very regularly. So every now and then you'll see some jazz festivals, and music fests, or food fests happening here and there. It always keeps the students entertained. They will not have the feeling that they're getting too homesick or they're getting too bored or the city's not for them. Perhaps your students coming to Montreal are foodies and they want to try different foods of different cuisines from around the world, or perhaps they're looking for a cuisine from back home and they want to go and for some Indian food or for some Mexican food or something of that sort. So you have all of those very readily, easily available in Montreal, and that's one of the advantages of being there. Great transportation. It's number one city in North America for study, according to the 2022 QS rankings. So Montreal has been listed as a place where students have a really, really good feedback about living over there, working over there, and studying over there, essentially. Why Trebas? So Trebas, first thing is it's not a new institute. It's been there for a while. Established in 1979, Trebas has had two campuses, one in Montreal and one in Toronto. We're talking about the Montreal campus today because most of our international students want to join our Montreal campus because they become eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit upon graduating from that particular campus. The unique thing about Trebas is our programs are very industry specific. Our programs are developed in partnership with the industry. These are programs which have been designed looking at the industry requirements, what skill set do employers need currently and in the next 5 years, 6 years, 7 years compared to what they needed 10 years ago. So this curriculum is updated every year in partnership with those industry partners. And the programs are developed in such a way that the employability of a graduate is extremely high. So, for example, our business program would be e-commerce and online business management. As you know, in the past 3-4 years, the industry has changed exponentially. The major concern for every corporate has become how to convert or move our existing physical business model into an online one, whether full-time or part-time or 50% of it or in its entirety. And that's what this program focuses about. It not only teaches you how to run and establish a business from scratch, but also how to do the daily activities, how to do the social media marketing, how to do the accounting, all of it, right? So it's a skill set which is needed in every industry right now. That's why the employability ratio is higher. I'll talk more about other programs as well, but just to give you an example of what the quality of education and the ideology at Trebas is. Right. Some key benefits of studying with us. We've got the PGWP eligibility, of course. Our location, we're located in Sherbrooke. As you know, it's a downtown Montreal, and it's one of the commercial regions over there. It's lovely, lots of opportunities, whether students are looking for part-time or full-time opportunities, perhaps. It's been there for 40 plus years, and again, it's a part of the GUS umbrella. We have over 3,000 alumni. Our programs are powered by industry experts. So like I said, these are developed in partnership with industry. What this essentially means is that most of our programs, or actually all of the program, would have an industry component included within the curriculum. So for example, our academic programs like e-commerce and online business management, analytics, big data and business intelligence, or a computer security analyst would all have internships included within the program as part of the curriculum itself. It's guaranteed by a Trebas Institute. And the idea is not only to get them work experience before they graduate and go out in the real world, but to also offer them a networking opportunity, a job opportunity towards the end of this internship if the student meets the threshold set by those companies as well. We have a great diverse student body at our campus. We have students from over 40 countries studying with us, increasing every day. It's not just from India or Bangladesh or Pakistan or South Asia. Students coming from Vietnam, from Philippines, from Africa, Middle East, Latin America, France, Germany, Russia. So there's a really good diversity, and I honestly believe that student diversity is a really key factor in the success of the student. Essentially, that's all the exposure they take in. It's great. Programs are offered in both the languages, in English and in French. So students can choose whichever program they wish to apply for. Our campus, so we have amazing infrastructure. For example, for our audio and video post-production program, which is a very creative program, we have our entire recording studios, audio and filmmaking equipment set up. A student would not need to license out or buy, spend thousands of dollars on instrument and software licenses that they need to complete the program. All of that support is available on the campus itself. We have a brilliant student lounge for them to relax between classes and just chill out a little bit. The subway station is very, very close by as well, just across the street. Actually, we're very close to the McGill University campus too. And as a matter of fact, one of our main accommodation partners is also the same accommodation provider where students from McGill University stay. So that's the kind of level, that's the kind of quality Trebas aims to deliver for all their students. Our campus, so we're close to Old Montreal. It's a 1-hour flight or a 6-hour drive from New York City, just to give you an idea. Again, a 1-hour flight to Toronto, 5 hours drive. I took this flight from Toronto to Montreal. It took me 45 minutes, not even an hour. So it's really, really ideally located, neither too far nor too close. 2 hours drive to Quebec City, if somebody fancies that. We are a designated learning institute. Our DLI number you can hopefully see on the screen. So we are registered and ready to have international students at our campus. One of the key benefits of Trebas Institute is our career services. So we have a career services department whose the people working over there, their dedicated job essentially is to find opportunities for our students. They help our students make their CVs, prepare them for an interview, help them build their LinkedIn profiles, assist them in finding those internships, which are part of the program. Essentially, not only that, they'll help you organize. They organize multiple career fairs throughout the year, which in India we term them as placement drives. Essentially, in Canada we call them for career fairs. It's a networking opportunity for potential employers to meet to meet all our graduates and hopefully become their employees or employers in the future. So all of that support is there available, and this is an excellent service that you would ideally see in big public universities being offered to students. But we at Trebas are offering it to every single one of our students, and the service is open to them lifetime. So it's not like once they graduate out of Trebas, they can't come back or get some help. Even if they come back to us 5 years later, 10 years later, the doors are always open to them. Just to give you an idea of how the timeline proceeds, students start their programs. The career development workshops begin immediately after that. Throughout the 2-year period that they're studying with us to prepare them, help them with their resume, interviews, LinkedIn professionals, photographs, and building up the profile. Career fairs, like I mentioned, networking, guest speakers throughout the years are also there. Then the students are also notified of the job opportunities via email, etc. And that's the essential pathway that they take over the 2-year period. Some of our industry partners that we're very proud of, for example, you can see a lot of names which might be very familiar to you over here. A lot of these partners are for the audio video post-production program. For example, DC Music is a big name, Karat Studios is a big name, Sun TV. And these are just a few of those partners that we have essentially. And that's one great thing about Trebas is that the networking opportunity that they offer, especially through integrating the internship with the program curriculum and making it part of the program and a compulsion to do it, essentially guarantees the student exposure, networking, and employability prospects for the future. Our programs, right? So we have 4 programs. Sorry. Let me just do that. Yeah. So these are the 4 programs that we offer to our international students at the moment. The first one is e-commerce and online business management. This one I've already spoken about. The e-commerce actually has 2 options. One is a 2-year general duration program. So the student would become eligible for a 3-year post-study work permit. But the e-commerce and online business management also has a fast track option, which is 12 months in duration. So the number of hours remain the same, but the intensity of the program sort of changes. It becomes more intensive, and the number of hours of lectures a week would ideally be a little bit more. But the student have the option if they do not want to study for 2 years, if they've already studied in Canada for 1 year perhaps, or they're only looking for a 1-year study and a 1-year postgraduate work permit based on their profile and experience and their priorities, they can apply for the fast track as well. The second program is audio and video post-production. This is again a 2-year program. This is a program for creative students looking to come into post-production industry. Essentially, anybody who wants to get into music industry, television, sound, movies, anybody who has a creative side of and enjoys 2D animation, 3D animation, graphic designing, motion graphics, this would be a really, really good program for them. A third program is Analytics, Big Data, and Business Intelligence. This is a really amazing IT program, not just for IT graduates, for business graduates as well. Anybody who's from a statistical background or a mathematical background, perhaps anyone who has a good quantitative analysis. A lot of engineers choose to come into this particular program from computer science, IT backgrounds, and even others, as a matter of fact. Computer science engineering graduates, or perhaps BCA graduates, students coming in from a business degree, economics degree. It would be a really, really good option. I think big data, business intelligence, business analytics, data analysis is the, it's where the future lies. It's where majority of companies are investing right now. And this is a program which is very much in demand in the industry. It's been developed in such a way. And one of the other great things about all our programs is that most programs would have, industry lecturers coming in. A lot of our faculty is actually coming from our industry partners. So you get to learn from the people with essentially whom you want to work with in the future. And that's what gives you that edge over others. Our fourth program, Computer Security Analyst. It's again a 2-year program for anybody who's looking into cybersecurity, network security, IT security analysis, etc. It's a well-known program in the markets. It's a 2-year program again. All our programs are very, very affordable, and we offer brilliant scholarships for all. With every program that we offer, we have a great pool of scholarship. We can offer scholarships of up to 7,200 Canadian dollars, essentially, with the help of our parent organization and the funding that has been granted to us by our partners, etc. But I believe these are really amazing programs at very, very affordable cost, especially if you look at the internship opportunities and the scholarship opportunities which come along with the program. E-commerce, I discovered just to show you some career opportunities of what potential careers you can have. All our programs are ACS, and we have 4 intakes in a year. So it's January, April, July, and September. And these are rolling intakes, essentially. So I won't bore you with this. I'm sure I can share this PPT with a few folks, and you can read more in detail about the programs and what they entail. Right. So let's skip that. So this is the fast track. Essentially, what it ensures is that your cost for the program essentially becomes 50-55% of what you would have paid over 2 years. But the only catch is that students may be eligible for a postgraduate work permit, which can be valid up for 1 year, basically. So that's the choice. That's the difference that they have to choose. That should I go for a 24-month program or a 14-month program, to be exact? But the work permit duration changes. Of course, the tuition fee changes exponentially as well. And the internship hours are listed in every program. So for example, e-commerce would still have even the fast track program would have 135 hours of internship. That's the audio video post-production program. Whether you want to become a Foley artist or a graphic designer, sound editor, etc. This is a program where, Trebas essentially shines because they've worked extensively in this industry. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of Trebas alumni, graduates who won, gone on to win Grammy Awards, but not just one, a couple of them actually. So this is really, if a student has that creative side, this program might be the best fit for them. And this is something definitely your students should explore. And these programs, the unique thing about them is that as for an international student, they're difficult to get in because the requirements are high. Either the cost is too high, or one requirement which always bugs me that is most institutes would require a portfolio for you to get into a program like this. At Trebas, we acknowledge the fact that student, essentially does not have that skill set at the moment, at the time of the application, to create a valid portfolio for themselves. And we rather take them directly and help them make a portfolio than asking one up front. So there's no portfolio requirement for us. It's a direct entry program. Just to show you the curriculum, we've got 3D animation, composting, color grading, making documentaries, post-production parts, digital overlay, sound mixing, editing. So it really covers a wide array of projects. So analytics, big data. This is what the other program. This program, as you see, has an internship of 300 hours. So that's a long internship, full term essentially, that the student will be working with a potential employer, and that's their chance to not only learn but to also prove themselves and find a job or secure a job for the future. That's a structure, term 1 to term 5. The 5th term is the internship essentially, and the first 4 terms remains the academic part. Similar structure for computer security. The internship is 210 hours, as you see, 24 months duration. And this is the term 5 terms in total. 5th term is the internship. The first 4 terms are essentially your academics. Scholarships. So we have different scholarships for different regions, right? Depending on which region you're based out of, the scholarship will be applicable to you. For students coming from India, we have scholarships of up to $7,200. Different programs, different grants. Right. So just give you an example, our e-commerce and online business management program, for example, the original tuition fee is $28,000, but the scholarship being offered for this program is up to $4,000, depending if you qualify. And if you do, that means essentially your 2-year program would cost you $24,000, which is 12,000 Canadian dollars per year. Now, that's a really, really affordable cost. Similarly, the audio video post-production, a program like this generally ends up costing you $45,000 in most institutes, but at Trebas, the original tuition fee itself is $32,000. And we offer the same $4,000 for up to $4,000 scholarship for the audio video program as well. And the fee would then decrease to 28,000 Canadian dollars. Now, I'll take Big Data. The original tuition fee is 32,000 Canadian dollars. The IT programs, we have a higher scholarship pool, so we can offer scholarships of up to $7,200 if you qualify for the entire amount. You may qualify for the entire amount or some part of it, depending on your overall profile, your IELTS, your academics, your work experience, all of it. But if a student does manage to get the $7,200 scholarship, which a lot of our students have already done so, if you've applied for Trebas, you already know that. The program comes at 24,800 Canadian dollars, which is 12,400 Canadian dollars per year. Now, a program like this at this cost is not available anywhere. Similarly, for computer security analysts, the original tuition fee is 30,000 Canadian dollars. With a scholarship of up to $7,200, there's a potential that this program will cost you 11,400 Canadian dollars per year only. This is for the local students, for students who are based out of Canada, who are domestic students essentially. And as you see, different regions, we've got Southeast Asia, National Tech Grants. These are for Korean and French-speaking students and Southeast Asia actually. Right, this is, I don't need to go over this. So the easiest way to make an application is to get in touch with your Abcodo advisors. And we have our own payment portal as well. So the initial $250 can be paid via the payment portal and the tuition fee as well if somebody wants to pay through their credit cards. The offer letter includes the bank details as well. Our turnaround time is pretty quick. The offer letter should be released to you within 24 to 48 hours. The LOAs are generally released between 48 to 72 hours, essentially. Requirements up, if you're talking about requirements from India, which I believe will be the primary market for all of us over here, is 55% in their high school or their bachelor's, essentially is what we're looking for. And an IELTS of 6 overall is what is required. 6 overall, we do accept 5.5, but having said that, that flexibility is to help students who are unfortunate 5.5. But we want to promote SDS applications because, as you know, the success and the not just the visa success, but the student success is also higher if it's a SDS application essentially. The application goes through the GUS portal. So this would be handled by your Abcodo advisors and our partners, and they will help you through that process. IELTS 5.5, 6.0 is the requirement, as I mentioned. We do accept the other alternates, Duolingo, PTE, IELTS, TOEFL, any of them. You only need to look at the equivalent score. Please do remember Duolingo is accepted as an institute, but I don't believe it's accepted under the file for the visa, for the study permit. So we have other support, free French courses, like I mentioned earlier, accommodation that I was talking about. If the student needs any support, students can work 28 hours 20 hours a week part-time. If they need any support in regards to that, they can always go to the career center and they'll make them aware of the vacancies or positions nearby, help them make the CV, prepare for an interview. whatever support they essentially need. We also have a student services desk, which helps the student when they come in to get settled in, open their bank accounts, sort out accommodation, any and everything that they might need. We have multiple accommodation partners, as you can see on the screen. This is the McGill University, so very, very close by. This is the Campus One Montreal accommodation, which is 1 minute walk from McGill and another minute walk from us, essentially. Right, some FAQs, just to give you an average idea about living costs, tuition fee, etc. in Montreal. And yeah, so I think I'll open the floor to any questions that people may have.
That was an awesome presentation, Kashish. You have explained everything. Yeah. So team, like if you have any questions, please let us know, like in Q&A session or in chat box, so that Kashish will explain you and he will give a complete brief.
So I always like to, keep a few minutes in the end, because it's always nice to have a one-to-one conversation instead of me just babbling on for hours and hours. So I made it into a quick one, but I'm happy to answer any doubts, any questions, any information that you think I might have missed that you want to know. Always happy.
It was awesome, Kashish. Like you gave complete information, like in this presentation. I think our agents got complete information regarding this process and everything. So just let's wait for some time. If they have any questions, we will.
Sure, of course.
So Kashish, how is the market now, like in Canada situation, COVID situation?
I think it's getting better every day. You're experiencing that yourself as well. You see more and more students reaching Canada more comfortably and easily now. Flights are more frequent. Travel norms and restrictions have gone down a little bit. And I think 2022 is where we'll start seeing relative normalcy. I wouldn't call it normalcy because I don't know if it's going to go back to the same way, and I don't expect it to. But relative normalcy is what I see perhaps coming back to us. And we found this great hybrid way of functioning now, essentially, right? You and I would always meet up face to face, essentially 2 years ago, but now we do these activities over Zoom, and so much infrastructure. COVID has helped us build essentially in a way that we had to adapt to it very quickly, and we all did.
Yes.
So I think it's going well, and in terms of study permits, our students are getting their study permits on time as much as any other public institution or private or anyone else. As long as you're registered DLI, I think it's the choice of the program which matters the most when it comes to the approval of the study permit and the intention of the student to prove their interest in the program they're applying for. The unique thing and the best thing about Trebas is that our programs are not general programs per se. They're focused on giving you a specific skill set, which is in demand by most industries right now. Essentially, these are not outdated programs made 10 years ago. These are programs which are required in today's current circumstances.
Exactly, Kashish. So, Kashish, we have one question. So, how much gap will be accepted?
We are flexible with that because, ACS programs are not 100% purely academic programs by nature, that you have set prerequisites essentially for those. So that's the good part about a program like ours, that it allows you to come learn whatever the skill set you require in those 24 months. And that's why we are open to students with a different background coming into our programs as well. For example, the audio video. Forget about backlogs itself, but what is the ideal relevant background for it? Because in India, we don't have such awareness, right?
Exactly.
That's why all our programs are open for different candidates coming in from different backgrounds. That's first. And in terms of backlog, as long as it's, sensible, 2, 3, 4, it's justifiable per se, it's fine. But if a student has 30, 40 backlogs, then it shows poor performance, not just performance or their intent or their focus on the study part. That's where we get a little concerned. But as long as it's justifiable, we're happy to accommodate as much as we can.
Okay, so like around 15 backlogs, will it be accepted?
8 backlogs, 10 backlogs I've seen so far being accepted by admissions. I wouldn't know about 15, but again, it depends on a case-to-case basis.
Yeah. So long gap means like say student for 10 years gap, 15 years gap, like he studied and he's working now.
Another thing, exactly right. So another thing I want to clarify now, if there's two different things, a gap I would say is an ideal gap where the student was not doing anything between those years. In terms of a gap, where they were working, then I would call it work experience, and work experience is highly appreciated. I would not qualify that as call it a gap at all of any sorts. I would say, they have brilliant work experience that will come in handy when they come to Trebas, and it's much appreciated. And it's the only thing we talk about when we consider in terms of backlogs, essentially, when I was worried, let's have limited backlogs in their academics. But gap years, as long as they were working, that's fine. If they were not doing anything, it was an ideal gap, then I think they need to 2 or 3 years or 4 years is okay, where it's sort of justifiable towards the end. Perhaps they were preparing for the UPSCs or the civil services in India or something of that sorts, right? It's justifiable, but longer than that, it becomes an issue.
Okay, so for example, see for audio and video courses, if anyone like did bachelor's in engineering or anything and is doing some software job or like any marketing job or anything, can he apply to that course?
Of course you can. Yeah. Absolutely, they can.
There he will get from basics, right? Audio and video in that course.
Yeah, the idea is that we will help them, graduate out of the program with all the skills they need, and there are no specific prerequisites. That means essentially we will teach them everything that they need to. All they need to have is that intent, that that interest, essentially.
That's great, Kashish. I think there are no more questions coming. Like. All are very much happy with your presentation, I can say.
I hope so. Either that or either it was extremely boring and everyone has left off.
No, guys. It's like this. See, there are just 4 programs or anything, whatever you give, they'll have complete. Like, and also we will also help them in giving more information.
Of course. Yeah. And we are there for any support. Anytime any support is needed from our end, we're always there, right? Whether it's with the student, whether it's an admission issue or an offer letter issue, or if there are any doubts, or you want the student to connect to us. There are a few queries you want us to clear for the student, introduce to the programs. We're always happy to support our partners for any and everything needed.
That's great, Kashish. Definitely we'll be in touch. So I think everyone got complete clarity. So guys, like may today's learning be something that inspires your desire to navigate the recruiting of foreign students. So thank you everyone for your valuable time in your webinar. Hopefully this webinar has given you a better understanding of the Trebas as an institution of choice. We will catch up with yet another interesting institutional webinar very soon. Take care. And for any queries, just email to info@abcodo.com. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kashish. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you everyone for joining. Okay, we'll meet you soon and we'll discuss more opportunities. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.